That looks like a Jack Daniel's single barrel personal collection bottle.
Yeah, I mean, you guys and everybody else knows these are my favorite whiskeys I own. I have not cracked this one in a long time. So, this was bottled 12224. So, felt pretty appropriate. Barrel House 231. But what gets me about this bottle is
Look at the
that,
color.
like, ugh, 128.4 proof. I haven't had this one in a while. So, I got to go. Little babies. Little babies nowadays.
The Jack Toasted Heritage, man, it just doesn't miss. It's just so good. You'll be able to get yourself one of those when we go to Tennessee, Zach.
Oh, I got one.
You'll be able to get yourself another one of those when we go to Tennessee, Zach.
They just released a new one. I
Yeah,
can't remember what it
batch
was
two,
called.
right?
No, it was that maybe you. I'm sure you are 100% correct, but there was another one. It's oh god, it was a different Jack that they just released that are going to be really hard to get. That's like I'll have to check it out. It's not one of these crazy square bottles either. It's a different one.
Interesting. I'll tell you the one thing I'm going to look for while we're in Tennessee, and that is minis. We talked about it on a previous episode, trying to find some like cool 375s or even smaller, like some grenades or something. Um, and Tennessee and Kentucky is like the place to do that. I would love to find a Jack single barrel private select 375.
I've seen the single 375s, but I've never seen a private barrel 375.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah.
I'm just looking forward to being able to just go look in a different market than here.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah.
You know, in Tennessee and in Kentucky, you know, who knows? I mean, things that are easy to find there that's hard to find here,
Well, when I went to
those are always fun.
near Chattanooga a couple months back from my fishing trip, I remember I texted and called you guys. I found that Jack Toasted at MSRP, no markup. But they, I mean, not that I was gonna jump all over it, but I mean they had like the hard to find stuff up here at or near MSRP all over down there. I mean, you were able to find like Weller foolproofs for $100. You're never gonna find a Weller foolproof for $100 up here. Um, Eagle Rare for 45, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's such a strange thing too, like, is why they do that, why they distribute that way. I don't know if it's on the part of the distilleries or if it's on the part of the distributors, but yeah, why is it that certain states get a surplus of like Weller and other states don't get hardly any at all? Why don't they just do it evenly?
I don't know.
Do you think so? I don't have an answer. I don't know the answer. It's a open question. But do you think that they do that based on like quality of stores in the area? Does that make sense? Like, if you, Indiana, we have a ton of shitty stores that are charging, $125 for Weller SR. Do you think if you go to a different state and all the liquor stores are charging reasonable prices that they're going to get selected more, you think?
I mean, who knows? I mean, because if I remember correctly, Ohio gets a good amount of like Weller products, right?
They do, because when
Cal,
I lived
yeah.
in Cincinnati, but you got to keep in mind Ohio's a state-controlled liquor state.
Well, then that was the point I was leading into, is that I wonder, because it is state controlled and because they do price control, maybe that has something to do with it. I don't know.
Well, I think some of it, if I'm just being honest, I mean, not to throw people under the bus, but like in states like Ohio where everything is state-controlled liquor, you're not seeing all the backdooring that you see at Indiana liquor stores, where it's like they get these shipments in and then they call up like their best friends and the people who they know and trust, and then they get first dibs on the bottles. So like you don't see that as often in Ohio.
Yeah, and I'm sure that may be an element of this too, right? Because I assume that in state controlled, you can't hold stuff back. You can't hold things for like lotteries at the end of the year like they do here.
Well,
It's
they can do lotteries, but they have to be, again, state-controlled lotteries. So, like, Kroger does massive lotteries in Ohio and in even northern Kentucky, but everything is controlled. So, like, does Kroger hold stuff back? They do, for sure. But they can't hold it back for like 9
for the
months.
buddies.
Yeah, and they can't
Well,
hold it back to their buddies, and there's
yeah.
way more rules when it comes to that, and there's no benefit for them to hold it back because at the end of the day, it's still gonna sell for the state-controlled price. They can't
Well,
mark it up to $600.
well, that and there's more transparency
Oh,
because with
yeah.
the state controlled, I mean, you can actually go in and see a listing of what is going, right? I mean, like if like at least to the state, if not to each store. I mean, don't they publicly list that? Like, hey,
I know, Kroger for sure does because I went to a couple of those Kroger events. See, and they don't even call them lottery drawings. They just call them events because if you show up, everyone gets a ticket. There's usually enough bottles for everyone to get something. Um, but there was this little gas station that I lived right next door to that was also a liquor store, and I became not friends, but pretty close with the guy that ran the place. And so I would pick his brain on this stuff all the time, and they would know in pretty good advance like what they were going to get unless it was like a really special drop where it was supposed to be maybe distillery only release or like limited quantity. Then they don't really get as much like heads up about that stuff. But I mean, I used to be able to walk into that gas station and buy Weller SR and Weller Antique and Eagle Rare pretty much every Friday.
yeah. Well, these would definitely be good questions for because I know looking forward to future episodes, like we're looking at getting different kind of guests on, and we're looking at getting maybe a distributor or two on, and maybe these would be some good questions for them. Maybe they can give us, and then therefore our listeners, some insights into exactly what happens behind the doors,
I will
or
say
behind the curtains.
there is an element that goes into it, and Zach might know this. Zach will know this better than me, just from his experience in the market. But there is a certain element that goes into play with like how much Fireball you sell, how much basic
Right.
stuff you sell. And Indiana historically is a pretty good like alcohol sales state, but like Wisconsin, Tennessee, Kentucky are way better states and Ohio too. They just sell more volume than we do.
Yeah. Yes, and you're right. That definitely is a component of it. You know, Rick, who owns Lake Liquors and others, back whenever I used to go in and talk to him on a regular basis, he used to tell me about that. He had to carry so much of that base level bottom shelf or shit and sell it in order just to get access to a limited number of allocated bottles. Which I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, I understand it. It's a way that the distilleries can push their bottom shelf stuff, force basically liquor stores to carry and try to push a lot of that stuff. However,
Zach, what is it? Fireball determines how much Buffalo Trace you get or something?
Yeah, Fireball and Wheatley both are the two determining factors on anything Buffalo Trace. So, um, it there's like a multiple part segment to this. So, it's not that it's a bad thing when you start looking at it at like surface level. When you start breaking it down, it becomes a really big issue for the simple fact that it's Fireball as apps like I'm gonna judge, sorry, but as absolute dog shit as that product is, one, it's not whiskey. Two, I don't know if you guys actually know this or not, but it's actually McGillicuddy's. It's not a recipe change. Yeah.
I had no idea that was McGillicuddy's.
Fireball is 100% McGillicuddy's. You can actually Google Fireball McGillicuddy's. It was a rebrand. It's all it is a rebrand. Back in the day, McGillicuddy's had a cinnamon whiskey called McGillicuddy's Cinnamon Fireball Whiskey, and that's literally what it is. And so what happened is they realized that these people were drinking their shittiest liquor, so they would propose this plan, this incentivized idea of this cinnamon whiskey we really need to push out there. So if you buy a shit ton of it, we'll give you B tax. And that's really how this came to be. And I have a huge, huge issue with it. Wheatley vodka is great. Wheatley's fine.
Yeah.
The bottles are great. It's good price point. Like, cool, no problem. But this all started with Fireball. And that's the part that I have a huge issue with is it was a program to sell a rebrand of a product that is antifreeze with some red hot flavoring. And then people like, I'm not going to say specifically, so I will tell you 100%. And Joel, actually, you might both know this. There's a store not too far from us, about 20 minutes, that in the back room of this store is pallets of Fireball and Wheatley vodka. And it's just a little bit outside of Portage, just a little bit west of Portage. And they did that so they could get these crazy allocated whiskeys. And it becomes this huge issue because you would stock up on all this product, then you would get the allocation, but then you wouldn't do a lottery and you wouldn't do a fair. You would price gouge, and it completely goes against why the system was set up in the first place.
Yeah,
And
the
yeah.
place you're talking about, if I think it's the place that I'm pretty sure I know it is, what they do is they double and triple charge on their everyday like allocation bottles and even on their store picks to make up what they spent to get that stuff in the first place because they're not pushing the Red Bull and the Wheatley or the
Yeah,
Fireball and the Wheatley.
they typically try to get a good buzz around their products.
Yeah. Although now what they do is they don't even do that anymore, Zach. The new thing is you have to buy a bundle.
I saw that. Somebody posted that on the bourbon group
and
online.
The bundles, funny enough, some of them include a Wheatley.
They all, dude, like, oh God, I gotta be real careful my words. It was the largest single collection, we'll call it at this point, of Fireball, Wheatley, and Tito's I've ever seen in my career. I have been to Total Wines, Costco's, Serviced, Strachan, all these places. But Strax doesn't matter; they don't sell alcohol. But these stores that had these massive inventories, and it was the largest amount of all of these products I've ever seen to this date. I've never seen anything like it. And I remember asking, like, why do you have like literally 3 pallets of whiskey or Fireball and Wheatley? I was like, oh, just so we can get like 2 bottles of B-Tags. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my entire life.
Oh God.
But it's a thing. It's a thing. It's a huge issue in the market. But on the flip side, there's got to be an easier way to do it, a better way to do it. I don't really know what that easy, better way to do it is, honestly.
Take control of your product.
True.
Truly, that's the answer.
It is, but
true.
you hate letting governments take over stuff, though. I mean,
I get it, but then there's no markups, there's no secondary. You might actually get a bottle you're looking for.
Well, it definitely does give more people access to the possibility of getting certain bottles. Whereas the way that a lot of these stores, especially here in Indiana, does it benefits those that are able and willing to spend a lot of money on just standard bottles, especially store picks, because that's what a lot of these liquor stores they're pushing their picks. So if you can and are willing to purchase a lot of other stuff, similar to what the liquor stores are doing, it's like they're forcing consumers to do the same thing they're doing. You got to buy a lot of this other shit that maybe you don't necessarily want that bad in order to get access to this. So
yeah, but I don't want to put a lot of garbage on my shelf. Like, you know what I'm saying?
And that was my point, is that with the state controlled, yes, a benefit is that people like yourself who does not want to do that, don't want to participate in that kind of system. It gives you access. It gives you a better chance of being able to grab an allocated bottle. So I don't know. I see both sides of it. I honestly don't know exactly where I stand on it. I know it's a very complicated issue.
Well,
so
let me ask you this. I know where I stand on this, but I'm not going to say until I ask you guys. Where do you stand on the concept of what if there was a world in which you could buy one of those potentially allocated bottles, or just a bottle that you have your eye on? We talk all the time. It doesn't have to be allocated. Like, there's so much good stuff out there. But let's say it just so happens that there is a bottle. Zach, perfect example, a Jack Daniel's Tanyard Hill. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's say that you can get that bottle but you have to buy 2 of that store's store picks to get the rights to buy it, but you're going to get the Tannered Hill at MSRP.
So I'll keep mine short because it was directed with Tannered Hill, which I'm searching for. But you guys both know the store over in Illinois. It is the what is the liquor store over in Illinois? Oh my God, it's not Benny's. Everyone knows that one.
Talking about the one in Overland?
Is it
Start with
is
a
it
K?
Yeah, is it Kenwood?
Kenwood Liquors?
I think so, yeah.
They still had, to this day, one of my favorite ways to do allocations was they had that sheet of paper, just an 8.5 by 11 paper with a graph system, and it was tier levels, right? It was like, if you want this George T. Stagg, then you need to buy these 5 bottles. However, I do agree with Cal, is you don't want a bunch of junk on your shelf, but they were hand-picked bottles.
Cool
And they
with
sold
that.
them, and they were all MSRP. So it's like, if you want a George T. Stagg, they're going to sell it to you for retail for $185, but you have to buy 7 of their barrel picks or 7 of these bottles that were already like picked and hand curated. So you're leaving with 8 bottles, all for MSRP, and they're all good products. And it's also first come, first serve.
And
That's
even if they're
one
not,
of my favorite ways.
Even if they're not good products, you won't know until you taste them. I would rather invest my money in a Buffalo Trace store pick versus a blend, just a regular bottle. That's just how I feel, because I think store picks in general offer a more unique experience. Even if it's bottom shelf store picks, I'm still
I
in
agree.
them.
Well, one thing I think, just right off the bat, the thing that the distilleries could do is on the allocated, like the very limited stuff. We've talked about this before, but stop bottling it in 750s. Bottle it only in 375s. You immediately double the number of bottles available for people to purchase. So, yes, if you get a bottle, is it a full 750? No, but you got a 375, and now this guy got a 375 also. So you immediately doubled the opportunity. So for things that are extremely limited, that would be my thing. Like, put it in smaller bottles, make the packaging smaller, more bottles, more opportunity to be able to get it.
You could also, Joel, with that same mindset that you just talked about, think about not just the consumer market, but the restaurant and the liquor market. The restaurants would be more willing to invest in a 375 of George T. Stagg at $250 versus a fifth at $500-$600. So now you're reaching a wider audience with your product. You're still actually making more profit margin because it's less juice for more money, but it's incrementally more money because it's, you know what I'm saying? Like, in the consumer's mind, we've talked about this. I would rather get a smaller bottle of something highly, highly allocated and spend $250 versus dropping $450, $500 to get the full bottle.
Yeah, I mean, we even touched on that with even going back to even beers. Is Bourbon County brought back the 10-ounce or whatever size it was this year. That 4-pack was one of the smartest things they have ever fucking done, for the simple fact that a lot of people broke them apart and sold them singles. I don't need a 16.9-ounce bottle of Bourbon County times 5. Like, I don't want to have to go, but buying a little 10-ounce bottle, it's amazing. So I do agree with Joel on this. And Joel said it a couple of times too, which I've agreed with 1,000%. Kick these things down to 375s and call it a day. It's not only is it doubles your output, it makes it more approachable to consumers instead of these frankly giant bags of shit that are sitting on 15 bottles of Weller 12 and they have no intention of ever cracking them, or resellers, which also are fucking even worse. There's people that want to try this stuff and they should. At the end of the day, it's brown sugar water. There's ones that we love more than others, as everyone has their collections of things. But Joel, I think he told us about this. I don't remember the first time you told us about this, but it was one of my favorite things you've ever mentioned, honestly, was 375s for allocated bourbons across the board. It's one of my favorite things you've ever said, because I could not agree with you more at all.
Yeah. Yep. I agree. 100%. I don't even think 750 should be offered on Weller products, besides maybe SR.
I still like
Yeah,
SR.
I mean, unless you're,
I know you do.
Yeah, unless you put the product out to where it can sit on shelves without people coming in and just wiping it out, then yeah, put it in smaller packaging. Like I said, just gives more people the opportunity. And also even on a lot of this stuff too, like you can go even smaller, just that way people have the opportunity to try it. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. Do
Put
you
it in the
remember
little
back like in Joel when I think you and I were bourbon hunting the same time, and we've really stopped. I mean, compared to what you and I used to do. But do you remember like how like cool it was when you could find like the tiny shooters or the small bottles of like an Eagle Rare or a
Oh, I love
Blanton?
them. Yeah, I love them.
I want to get back to that. Like, I want to be able to find just like little taster 3 ounce and 6 ounce bottles so I can just
Yeah.
like crack it, split it 3 or 4 ways with my friends, talk about it. And then right? Like, then is this a tater bottle or is this the real deal, right? But,
Yeah, that way you don't commit a couple $100 into a bottle because that's what we've done on our show, right? Like we've tried some highly allocated stuff, some things that was hyped, on my part, like a lot of my bottles are old. So a lot of bottles that were hyped years ago that I never cracked open. Now I'm cracking them open for the show. And so many have just fallen so far short.
I think
Whereas
I mean,
if I
go
could have
ahead.
had tasters back in the day, I'd get a taster, try it. That way you don't have to actually crack open a big bottle if you do want to hold on to it for a special occasion or whatever reason. But that way you can try it and then okay, yes, this is good stuff. I do want to acquire maybe a couple other full bottles of this, or this is garbage. I'm going to stop fucking chasing this.
I'll keep it also really short because Cal, you were going to jump in and not to cut you off, but that is also something that I appreciate about Evergreen Liquors in Louisville, and why I don't understand why we don't do this here is we're not even talking about the crazy allocated shit, right? The Pappies, the B-Tax, all that crazy stuff. But if you're starting to get single barrels, you're starting to get these barrels that are a little bit harder to get, and then you have these cases of bottles. When the fuck did we stop at liquor stores from tasting these on a regular basis? It requires now the reps to go in, which most reps don't give a flying fuck. They're just salespeople. Wise guys, and we love wise guys, but they have, had, but the one in Hobart, the superstore, they have a tasting center. There's 100+ bottles of stuff open. Let the consumer try your product. You will sell more. It's a win-win situation, but that's been gone. We've lost it.
Well, in Indiana, we've lost it.
You can still do it.
But-
It's legal. You're fine.
No, I
But-
know that. But what I'm saying is you go to any other state. When I was in Tennessee, every liquor store I went to, the owner had 5 to 7 barrels on the countertop and asked you, what do you want to try? I'd love for you to try what I've got.
I will say though, even here in Indiana, liquor stores are pretty good about tasting out like their barrel pick stuff. So whenever they do a barrel pick of something, they will typically, and honestly, this is something good for if people do end up seeing this recording. If it's a store pick, ask them if they have one open that you can sample before you actually buy one.
It's a good point. Yeah. They don't openly advertise it, right? Like when you go down south, it's just openly advertised. Like you walk in and it's already on the like desk by the register waiting for you to just.
Yeah, a lot. Well, also a lot of stores. We've been to stores before too that have actually like little bars set up, like tasting bars set up to where you can actually go and taste a lot of different things. So, yeah, I would like to see that a lot more mainstream as well.
Louisville does it right on a lot of things, and I get it, right? Bourbon Trail and all that. It makes total sense. But like even the concept that Neat has, even though that's more of an upscale speakeasy, if you want to call it that, you can still get very reasonably priced pours of stuff there. I mean, Joel, that Weller single barrel that you bought was like $40-$50, something like that, which to some people might be like astronomically insane. But really, when you think about it, it's not that bad of a price to get a 2-ounce pour. Because that's what Neat was selling, I think, was right. 2-ounce pours, Zach? Or are they 1.5?
Yeah, I think that sounds right. Joel, is that right? Was it 1.5, 2 ounce?
I think they're 2 ounce. But anyways.
We had a little bit to drink that night.
It was a blurry night.
No, we had a lot of it. Anyways. But my point is like we're in our area like for the people that listen to us, right? Like we have a lot of locals that listen to our podcast. We don't really have a place you can go like that. And even and when we did, or if we do, you're for a Weller single barrel, you're gonna pay $120 to try that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's my biggest problem is like from an attainability standpoint, Indiana just doesn't. I don't know if it's by design. I don't know if it's just happenstance. Whatever the case may be, we just when it comes to bourbon, we're really not a great state for that market. Like we don't do a lot of the things that all of the surrounding states do.
Well, I mean, we can bring back up somebody's business model idea of opening a bottle shop in
Oh
Valpo.
yeah, Zach.
We have talked about this. This was literally brought up probably maybe 2 weeks ago at this point. I asked somebody, who was I talking to? It doesn't matter. I was talking to somebody and I asked them just like, we have all these liquor stores, right? But we do not have an actual proper bottle shop. And I thought I was going to get this response of just like, oh yeah, but I mean, like, what's the difference? And no, the response was just like looks up and goes, oh fuck, we actually don't have a bottle shop anywhere.
Nowhere.
Uh, and so for the listeners and viewers at this point, the difference between a liquor store and a bottle shop is bottle shops are hand curated. You're not going to go in and have there is no Miller Lite, there is no Bacardi on a bottom shelf. These are hand curated, hand decorated, hand done special selections of wine, beer, spirits. If you can do a 3-way liquor license, if not, then you can do these little special events and you taste everything. Everything has open bottles where you can taste stuff and you let the consumers make up their own mind. And we don't have a single one anywhere. And
You
I
got to
think
go
the
to Chicago.
closest Chicago or Indianapolis, honestly.
Yeah, let's say I got two things. One is I'm going to give a shameless plug to the only bottle shop that I know of. It is in Chicago. It's off of Armitage Avenue, off premise.
Yeah.
The guy's name is, yeah, sorry, I'm blanking on that one, but um, really cool dude. But yes, that concept, you can go in, you can try a lot of different things. It's not a great selection. It's not like going into a liquor store like you were just talking about, but it's the stuff he has is good quality stuff. Second thing, this would be a good idea for the distilleries. It's like, why don't you give priority to bottle shops? If their business model is set up to where you can go in and try products and things, maybe give them a little higher portion of, the more allocated stuff instead of selling it through these liquor stores. Because I will say this is not a new concept. This has come up before in forums online and social media groups. And I wholeheartedly agree with this. Distributors need to be monitoring the stores that they're giving these allocated bottles to, because when a liquor store is posting, these allocated products for 2 and 3 and 4 and plus times MSRP, I mean, way even above secondary. I mean, it's just, come on. It's
Yeah.
not like some Joe Blow going in and buying a bottle and flipping it. Whatever. That you're not really going to be able to control that. But you can control the liquor stores doing this shit when they're doing it openly. So distributors need to be fucking monitoring this stuff. And when they see it, be like, okay, well, you know what? You're not getting any fucking B-tax this year because you're charging these stupid prices for this stuff. I mean, that's just bad for the distilleries, in my opinion.
Yeah,
It
I
is.
listen,
digress.
I won't say the name. I don't think I have to, but like Michigan City, Westville area, when I see Elmer T. Lee's for $300, get out of here. You don't even deserve to own a liquor store. Like that's crazy. You know what I'm
I
saying?
I love you to death, and we can edit this out if you want to. I'll fucking say their name because fuck these guys. I work for a company that distributes beer. Everyone knows who I work for. Everyone knows. King Richard in Michigan City can fuck the fucking fuck off. These motherfuckers hoard beer
Yeah.
and liquor like it is never going out of style. We went to Pat's Liquors in Porter, Chesterton area, which we love. Liz Tilden, Pat's Liquor is one of our favorite places. We love her dearly. She had a Weller 12 year that one of my very close friends got for $89. That same day, we went to King Richard's, that exact same bottle, not a store pick, nothing crazy, Weller 12, $2.99 motherfucking 99, $300 for this bottle. That was a 20-minute drive, and they're sitting there. The Elmer Tea Leaves were $3.49. Eagle 10s and Eagle 12s were $119 and like $275. The most egregious one that I saw was the Jack Daniel's twice barreled. They had listed originally for $8.99.99.
Yeah, I was gonna say me and Joel, I don't know if you remember this, probably 2 years ago, you and I did a little bourbon hunt day, drove around through Michigan City, Westville, a couple other places. I think the most egregious thing I saw was when they were asking $700 for a Stag Junior, and that pretty much just ruined my day.
Wow, that's fucking crazy, dude.
Yeah.
I'll happily say, and like I said, if you boys decide you want me to censor it out, we'll put bleeps in here. I don't. It's fine. But King Richard and Trail Creek, which is the same owners in Michigan City, are.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they're a form of excess in pricing that I've rarely, if ever, come in tune with. Those stores are stores I do not shop at. I do not support them. I don't want you to support them. If you're listening and watching this, don't support them. Do not shop there. Tell them I sent you there. Tell them I told you to not buy stuff from them. Fuck those stores.
Do they, Zach, is that the type of store that would take something like this and then charge double after they got it from you for a certain price?
Oh, this is going to sound like such a dick thing to say. It was until I pulled all their allocations. They don't get anything anymore.
Okay.
I pulled allocations from them last year.
The bottle shop thing, it's funny because I thought, Zach, when we talked about this before, I was always thinking like how you and your wife would make such like a good duo at a bottle shop. Just your personalities would be great at a bottle shop. But I don't think Valpo would like be the right market for it. I do think Lake County would be a great market for it, like somewhere off of like Indianapolis Boulevard or even Crum Point.
Ooh, I think Valpo is a prime market for this, man.
Really?
Yeah. And the beautiful part is too is I'll call myself out. If we ever do open a bottle shop, I would prefer to do it honestly like as this. I think it'd be really cool to do a spiritual advisors bottle shop, honestly. But the good part is that we would always have demand because I would tell listeners and customers that we're going to have it next week, but we won't get it for about 9 months. So the demand's always going to be built up.
Zach.
Well, as far as the cutting out part, I don't have a problem leaving that in because, it is it's our policy that we don't shit on distilleries, breweries, restaurants, that kind of stuff. And I think we'll add a little caveat to that. We won't shit on you unless you fuck over your fucking clients, your customers. And that's exactly what they're doing. So that's why I don't have a problem calling them out. It's not like oh, they're trying to make something and it didn't turn out, so we're going to shit on them. No, we're not doing that. No, it's you're getting a product and you know what you're doing. You're fucking hyperinflating that price. And I have problems with it. So
you mean $60 for Buffalo Trace Standard isn't a good price?
I mean, but that's not like super egregious, but
it's really
that's not even the super egregious, but I mean, you can. I don't have a problem. There are stores, especially here around here. There are liquor stores that, I mean, they up their
for sure.
profit margins. They're going like an extra 20-30% above. It's like, okay, man, I know what you're doing here, but it's still kind of in that reasonable realm of, okay, I don't like the fact that I'm paying, $30 over MSRP, but I like the juice and I will. But it's the ones that, yes, are doing, like I said, they're going even above secondary like prices.
Yeah.
Like way above. And that's why it sits on their shelves. That's why you can go in there and that's why you do see it. It's because even the taters coming in there hunting this shit, they know that is like way above secondary. So those are the ones I just like, why are you doing this? Like,
To me feels like because I've seen other videos on like YouTube where people are like bourbon hunting and stuff, and they've interviewed the liquor store owners like, why are you asking $2,000 for a Lot B Pappy 12-year? You know, because that's just absurd. Yeah, what's the MSRP on the bottle? Like 129, something like that. I
For a
mean,
B
so
lot, yeah, it's about right. 129, I think, for a
150,
B lot.
you're
Maybe
almost
even less than
asking
that.
what 17x on that bottle, and the owners have literally said like on those YouTube videos, because I'm not in a hurry to sell it unless someone's dumb enough to pay it. Like that's a problem to me.
yeah.
It's a huge problem. That's why. So like, we have talked about this ad nauseum at this point, but that's, and Joel said it the best, but that is the issue. The issue is not the fact that it's, crazy difficult to get, and they can do that, because it is crazy difficult to get, and they can get that. It's they literally are saying fuck you to the customers. That's what it is. That's the biggest issue. These stores that are doing this, it is a haha, fuck you. We know you're still going to spend money here, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
That's, I think, the core issue, honestly.
Yeah. Now, I will say, moving off the negative side of this, the positive side is the
You get a
whiskey
boner when you
marketing.
walk in and see it on the shelf.
I can't confirm or deny
I mean,
anything.
I was gonna say you do got to admit though, and sorry to cut you off, but you got to admit though, when you walk into the store and you see some rare ass fucking bottle of, you immediately
Sure.
get that
You do.
comp like, what the fuck? Because you're hoping that you just randomly they just put it on the shelf, nobody has spotted it yet. They're gonna sell it for MSRP or close to it, and you're gonna fucking get a steal. But then
Can
you
I
look at the
tell you
price
though?
tag.
Yeah, no. Can I tell you though? You are correct. I still do that occasionally. But the things that I get excited for has changed so drastically. Like, I don't get excited to see it. I mean, sure, if there's a Weller Antique at MSRP, I get excited. I love 107. Joel loves 107. We've talked about that a million times. But if I walk into a store and see a Penelope Estate on the shelf at MSRP,
Yeah.
oh boy, like I'm real excited for that. Or if I got lucky enough to see a Coy Hill or a Tanyard Hill, or even when we last time Zach got that Jack Daniel's personal collection with the beautiful
Yeah.
little neck tag on it, if I can get that near MSRP, that gets me excited. Or what's another example? I don't know, like a Ben Holiday store pick or something unique and cool. Like I, it's just so funny how I've changed over the last like 6 to 7 years. I I, I don't know if it's because I've had listen. I'm speaking from a place a little bit of privilege. I have had the opportunity to try a lot of really allocated whiskeys. Um, I've tried some pretty crazy stuff over the last 5 years, but what I want to own is just so different now than like before, and my appreciation for the craft industry with whiskey is at like a new height that it's never been at. And I think a lot of that is the beauty of like our podcast and like us all being willing to spend the money to try something different, and then us realizing, dang, that's better than the allocated shit. Like, I don't know. It's wild how much it's shifted. If I see a Weller SR on the shelf at MSRP, I've passed it twice in the last month. I wouldn't have
No, I
done that
think
5 years ago.
yeah, no, and I think I mean, definitely one of your points in there was just because I mean, and I really speak for myself with in this regard because of what we've been doing here, because we have started to try all of these, or at least not, I mean, the ones we've been able to try so far, these allocated, highly sought after, these tater whiskeys and stuff that we've tried the right way, blind, and we've discovered that, okay, yeah, you take the hype element out of it, take that bias out. This liquid on it standing on its own is maybe it's good. Some of them been not so great. Couple have stood up to the hype, but yeah, I think it's just the realization through this whole process that if you take the hype out of it, you understand that this highly sought after thing, okay, yeah, it's good, but is it good enough to one, spend the time, effort, anxiety, and then if you are able to, or possibly even the money just to be able to get access to a bottle, or you find a bottle at secondary and like, oh, fuck it, all right, I'm just going to do the secondary price. Is it worth that? And the thing that I think that the conclusion we've come to time and time again is that most of the time, nope, not worth it.
Most
So
of the time.
that's, yeah, again, the purpose why we started doing this whole thing is, hey, I mean, we're trying it. We're being honest with our listeners, and take it for what it's worth. If you still want to go chase that shit, then chase it by all means. But
I would say that's a good caveat, Joel, is like, let's not take away from the people that want to chase it, right? Because there is some fun in chasing when you're new to
sure,
it. And I went through that, right? Like I've already
I
done
did too.
that part
So
of it.
sure.
And so like I don't need to do that anymore. But would I tell you like, hey, you should still go chase some stuff and have fun? Of course. Like it is part of being a bourbon enthusiast.
Well, plus, and we've talked about with, especially with, like I said, the allocated stuff, things that we understand is not really worth paying like above, so much pricing and then all this other stuff. However, it's stuff that is chased, and we admittedly, I know I do, admittedly, will still maybe pay a little extra for some things just to have available for our friends to try. So the
Yeah.
ones that are just getting into it, are chasing it, and they see the fact that, oh, fuck, you got this bottle? Like, oh, I've been chasing that for fucking 2 months. And okay, well, let me let you try it. And that way you at least get to taste it and see, like, okay, you still want to keep
Yeah.
chasing this, or, but you're right. I mean, it's a good point. I mean, I will say that back in the day, the thrill of the hunt was a real thing.
It was.
However, looking back, hindsight, I spent way too much money on way too many fucking bottles of shit just trying to get access to the better shit that turns out is not always so great.
Some
Yeah,
of it.
but yeah, and unfortunately, this is gonna have to be my last part because I am gonna have to sign off here as soon as I do. We do have Josh and April coming over because their furnace went down, so they're coming over for
Oh
din
boy.
dins. But on that same note, I what Joel said about having those bottles to share with people, that was really the thing I was going to touch on. Was you chased bourbons and you had this gigantic collection, and we've got to try a ton of them, and it's been amazing. But I think what has been the most amazing part in our journey of this podcast and where we are and what we do and what we're continuing doing is my favorite part of bourbon and beer in general. We have access to hard to get stuff. We have collections of hard to get stuff, but because we share them, we have got to travel, meet the most amazing people. Not to get too sappy, but you were two of my closest friends, and it started from beer and bourbon. Like
Yep.
that's not why we're friends, and it's not why we do this podcast. It's because we are friends, but it's it it was a gateway into so many people that we know. My relationship with Liz at Pat's Liquors was just exponentially extended because of the stuff we're doing. We get to go to Jack Daniels with Randy, Region Wrap Bourbon, because of this. We get to meet and have a partnership with St. Elmo Steakhouse because of this.
Yeah.
It's they're going what Cal said, chase if that brings you happiness, but do not lose sight of why it brings you happiness. If you
Yep.
want to go drop $3,000 on a bottle of Pappy 15, by all means have at it.
Do it.
Share it with your friends. Crack it open. Do not sit on it. Do not resell it because of this, we have this awesome podcast. We have amazing network of people we know because of that. And it's I don't think we take it for granted. I think it's always been very near and dear to our heart. So I think it's that's why I love it so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the only consternation that we could possibly all agree on is the part of this that uh, we probably don't like the most is just the dedicated flippers, because they're the greedy ones that they're only out to make a quick buck, which whatever, capitalism. I mean, it's a part of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. They just kind of ruin it.
They do,
Because I
but
mean,
I
they're the
will
ones
say,
that go out and get access to bottles, and then they turn around and flip it for X amount above.
yeah.
I don't know.
But let's caveat that just a little bit, right? Because, and I'll make this quick too, but just because you flip a bottle doesn't make you a flipper. There are some instances where maybe you want to trade up or trade
That's a
out,
good point.
Well,
That's a good
that's
point.
that's different. Yeah, that's different. That's not what I was alluding to. I was
Yeah.
alluding to the people that
Yeah.
go out and they just buy all that they can with the sole intention of marking it up 2, 3, 4, 5x and
Yeah.
selling it for the profits.
And they'll have no
and it's just-
intention to ever try it. And
yeah, they're not doing it for what Zach just most eloquently just said. I mean, they're not buying these up in order to share for any sort of good purpose other than greed. And
we'll say this: when we go to Tennessee, I'm gonna tater up and find Saz foolproofs.
Well,
I hope
I want
so.
Saz foolproof.
I
Something new
will
to
be
try.
if I find Saz foolproofs, I will be buying 2 bottles because I need a backup.
Unless there's a limit to 1, then you're buying 1 and I'm buying the other one. Fuck you.
And then we're going to another store so we can get another.
I'm buying one.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
boys,
the one bottle I will say I'm gonna chase this year.
This has been a lot of fun, actually. This is a whole different dynamic and learning curve, but the conversation legitimately has been one of my favorites that we've had. This has been a nice little deep dive into stuff, and I don't want to say unfortunately because it sounds terrible, but I do unfortunately have to sign off. This has been very enjoyable.
Can we do real quick before we sign off? Quick roundabout of what everybody drank tonight while we were having a quick chat.
Yeah, of course. Fire away, boys.
Joel, if you want to go first, go for it.
Yeah, well, like I said, I did have the drink the old Deep Woods can you read it there? Yeah, Deetherama. Deetherana. But then I was sipping on again the Ben Holiday soft red wheat Rick House proof 6-year. Delicious.
I was looking creepily empty since even when you showed us at the beginning.
It's a little less than half.
All right.
You're still all right.
I've only had one little pour here tonight. So,
Zach, what about you, buddy?
I started with the Revolution X Hero 10% Juicy Rush IPA, which I actually don't drink really ever, but kind of hit tonight pretty good. And then Jack Daniel's Single Barrel Proof Barrel House 231 1/22/24 bottling date. I haven't cracked this one for quite some time, so this one felt right to crack. Yeah.
What's the proof point on that one?
Proof point on this bad boy is 128.4, which is weirdly one of my lower ones.
I was going to say that's got to be one of your lowers. Well, I don't have all the bottles like you guys did, but in this glass, I had half a can of Gravedigger Billy. And then in this can, I drank a can of Deatherana.
Nice.
And then in here, I've got my Jack Daniel's Toasted Heritage. So.
Well, this episode's sponsored by Rev and Jack Daniels, apparently.
Yeah, clearly.
And we're okay with that.
All right, boys. Well, for the listeners, don't forget, give us a follow on Instagram at @the_spiritual_advisors. Links are all in the bio, by the way. Once the YouTube is actually up and running, we'll get the YouTube link added, but the Spotify and I believe the Apple podcast link is in the bio at this point. We'll continue to add that information to the weekly posts for the episode drops. And a huge shout out to all of our sponsors. I'm going to try and nail them off real quick. If I forget any, feel free. We've got E Brewing out of South Whitley, Indiana, Revolution Brewery out of Chicago, Illinois. Zach's going to rep the merch. We've got St. Elmo's, Huse Culinary, Rare Saint, Barkeep Vodka, the whole 9 out of Indianapolis, Indiana, Simko Signs out of Valparaiso, Indiana, and Upland Brewery out of Bloomington, Indiana.
Nailed it.
Fucking nailed it, son. Great.
Sick. Thank you, everybody.
But it's Upton Brewing though.
Nah, shut up.
No.
Uptown Funk.
Upland.
Appreciate everyone listening, tuning in weekly, the whole 9. Joel, go ahead.
No, you got it, dude. You nailed it.
That's it, man.
All I can say is peace.
That's
Cheers.
it.
Peace and love. Thanks, guys.
Bye, gang.
I was expecting it to be an awkward like 20 minutes and be like, okay.